on what the meeting, like what the meeting entailed after it happened. If that's okay. I mean,
I was going to wait for Mike to come in here because on the third page, in reference to Paul's concerns about our responsibilities as commissioners, the idea behind these charters was to make sure that we did have some focus and each of us had some ownership. But I know, Danelle, many of the things I bring up come through you and Jackie and Howie. So if we read, the purpose of each committee is to review, update, and implement the committee charters. Each committee will report to the entire MUA. If information is required, the committees will direct any professional staff and the administration would follow up. So I don't know, Paul, if you had a chance to read that third page there, but I don't see myself doing all the things that are on there, or things that we help to drive, I guess, and make sure it stays focused. And that's kind of how I've taken a little bit of this approach to this, is like making sure, as I'll ask Jackie, have we updated the EDUs? Well, I went on the website and I checked the EDUs. Yes, they're updated. So I'm just kind of double checking that, but the administration and the professionals are doing their jobs, and we help to drive that with these projects to making sure that they get done. As you have mentioned here, is that we're eager for these project timelines for Pump Station 2 to get done, other things on this list to get done. So that I agree with you completely, Paul, is that's where I see these charters being our focus, and we shouldn't have to be the ones doing all the work. And I think there may be a crossover where we may see that.
Yeah, and you know, another thing too is, and I know that things do come up last minute, but you know, when if we get sent something that says, hey, on Monday, and I read on Monday, and then before I'm ready to leave work, I just check my email again and see, oh, updated, things have been changed. Now you got to digest it again and try to catch up. You know, you come home from work, you got things to do, and then you got to, you know, all of this paperwork that we have to go through prior to a meeting. It has to be, whatever it is, it's got to be complete, you know, by Monday before the meeting, the latest. It's I mean, we meet every 2 weeks. If something's not, you know, ready, unless it's an emergency thing, it could probably wait till the next meeting, because sometimes you find yourself sitting here before the meeting and I'm reading, catching up on something new. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And, you know, we're dealing with some important things here. And, you know, a last minute, you know, cursory look over something isn't the best way to do this.
Agree. Absolutely agree with you. I just got a text message back from Mike. Please take over. Okay, this is another one where the plane's going down and he bailed again. There he is, he's coming back. But no, I agree with you, Paul, but I guess that's where these charters help us all to make sure that it's on paper. The administration and the professionals, they understand, they see this as well. But like I said, I know Dave and I, we took the parts where it comes to, which one is it? The bylaws and personnel committee. We had in the beginning a lot of personal time we had to put in, but I think it's shown on all the activities we have completed over the year. But I know Danelle and Jackie and Howie have done a lot with this, and so have the engineers. Steve, I will say I was pushed back a little bit the last meeting, where I was it was an insult what happens. I don't know how many times I've asked for this. Yep. And I know you apologize, but as it was stated, that I don't know how many times I've asked for the project timelines, and they need to be updated. And I know sometimes there's no movement, but it hurt. It really did, because I have a lot of respect for engineers, because I am one, retired and whatnot, but what you showed this commission was not it's not acceptable. And I hope you understand that's how we feel. And I think most people do.
I do understand, Andy, and I apologize for that. And I realize that you had requested something and we did not follow through on that properly, and I do apologize. And we'll make sure that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I hope so. And I know, I think it's not just an apology to me. I think it's an apology to this whole commission. Is that
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
know that you and James are doing a great job of following up with Danelle. And I personally, I want to make sure that we get it right. I think Dewberry has been doing an outstanding job, but we are aggressive, and we want to get this pump station 2 done, and things can run concurrently as we work with. And I know it's frustrating with the DEP and every entity, but and Danelle knows this. Let's just get it done.
Yep. So
And that's where we're
Andy,
at.
I apologize to everyone. I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand exactly what Paul's saying. We'll make sure that, when requests are made, they are followed through with and done properly. And in particular to the schedule, we can certainly in a position to move things forward faster than ever now.
I accept your apology, and I hope the rest of the commissioners do as well. But Paul, I don't know, Dave or Scott, do you have any comments regarding this, these charters or any other issues with how we're moving forward?
I had one question with regards to timelines. I was going through my notes, and at the March 18th meeting, we had set a timeline for shovels in the ground in September. How far back? Obviously, I know September's right around the corner. Doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Do we have a reasonable estimate as when we'll be able to put a shovel in the ground?
Yeah, so we just, let's make sure I'm not on mute. So we, one big thing was, and I acknowledged this previously, and, we erroneously, in previous schedules, we erroneously excluded the iBank process and the timeline on that. Normally that would run sequentially with any DEP permitting. We were told on Tuesday, I believe it was, that we can run that concurrently with the DEP permitting. So based on that, so that was a significant flaw in the schedule provided previously, unfortunately. But with that notice on Tuesday, that we can run these two items concurrently instead of sequentially, that gives us a lot better understanding of what the timeline can be. Obviously, it's not September. We're still hoping it can be, this year when we're in a position to do it. And we will provide based on Tuesday's meeting, we will provide a, updated bar chart schedule with actual dates to everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, good.
Sorry
Scott?
about Andy. I'm back on, Andy.
Okay. Scott, any comments?
No, Andy, thanks. I don't have any at this time.
Mike, I know you jumped out of the plane and pulled the parachute, but I'm glad you're back in.
Yeah, I had major technical problems.
Okay, well, you come in much clearer. We've discussed with the charters to some degree, but I don't know whether, Paul, you had the most. And then we did have an honest discussion with Steve regarding performance issues and the timeline. I don't know whether you want to share anything, but I'll let you go from there.
There's a couple things. The idea with the subcommittees is exactly to do what Paul's saying, is the subcommittees work together and come up with ideas and develop or come up with, things that you need to see, some information you need to gather. You bring it back to Danelle and Jackie and the staff and the licensed operator if you have to, or the engineers, and let them gather all the information we need to make a decision. So if we do this and work more efficiently as a subcommittee, and then we could bring it to the full MUA and make decisions based on what we're doing. And you know, I could speak for Paul saying about volunteering. I too just would like to dedicate more time, but we really can't. I can't personally do this. I had to step back and allow everyone to do the things that they need to do, especially the professionals, whether it's the lawyers, the engineers, the people, the license operator, Danelle, Jackie, to do what they need to do to get the job done. I too am not a little bit unsatisfied with how things are going. I think it's taken a little too long. I'm not gonna reiterate and go over again, but some of these things has been taking too long to accomplish. And we have a lot. There's a lot. This MUA is very active and very aggressive, and we want to get things done, and we have a lot to do, and there's a lot to do, and we need to have the professionals on board to do what they have to do to move things along quickly. We have a lot of plans for expansion. We have a lot of plans for improvement. We don't want to fail. The MUA is not going to fail, and as long as I'm on this and other people are on it, it's not going to fail. So, but we need the assistance of all these firms to make things move. So I think the point was well taken. I appreciate that. But the committees are formed. Take note. I know Scott wanted to be on the water supply subcommittee. You're going to have to read up on a lot of this information. There's a lot of information that you have to go over to get yourself up to speed. If you do want to attend meetings related to the subcommittees, feel free to do so. You encourage that to do that if you have the time to do it. Just that's the involvement what we want to get. If everybody does their part on the subcommittees, I think as a whole we can succeed as an MUA. So everyone has their role here, and they're well defined. If you have any questions about what your role is, just reach out to me, and I'll explain to you as best I could. I mean, a lot of us have some background in the water and wastewater business, so we have that advantage because we understand it. We do it on a daily basis. So if there's any questions about what you need to do or what you're looking to do, just ask. And I think that's what we're trying to do. It's laid out in those bylaws. So what I'd like to do is take those updated bylaws for the subcommittees and our charters, and then post that up on the website, so people, the ratepayers and people know that this is what the MUA is working on. This is what we're doing. So, for instance, for instance, the solid waste subcommittee. There's nothing on there about stormwater. It's all solid waste. I think it's worth pursuing, at least investigating it and researching it. If Kristen and Scott come up with things that need to be done, you could bring that to either Danelle. I mean, I think the key is we want to move everything through the administrator and let Danelle do what she has to do to get the individuals on board to get us the information we need. So that's how I'd like to see it done. So if there's any more questions about that, the subcommittees, anybody have any questions on the roles and what's expected?
Mike, the only thing, as I mentioned while you were off on trying to get back connected, is that I think you summed it up pretty well in the purpose of each committee, the summary there. And so maybe based on the discussions and comments from Paul and of you, maybe we make a small adjustment there so that wording is included.
Yeah, the best thing to do is, because I don't want to do it. If you have some kind of wording change or anything, just update the document, and then I'll finalize it and get it over to Danelle.
All right, Paul.
If there's any changes that need to,
yeah, Paul, if you have any suggestions on that purpose of each committee, I'll be happy to take them and I'll try to edit it in.
All right, let me look them over, and I'll reach out to you if I
Okay,
think it's.
and anybody else, then I'll take a look at it. Okay.
But and the thing, just to add to that, Andy, these are moving targets. Things are going to change. They're going to develop. We're going to take things off the list that we've already accomplished, and then we're going to add things on there as things go. Things we don't know what's going to happen with the water supply subcommittee. We don't know how this is going to play out, and our role may change, and what our objectives might change as we go. So it's something that needs to be updated every so often. But I wanted to update it to reflect those changes.
Absolutely.
So let's continue to work on that, and we'll get back to it. All right, let's move on to number 10, licensed operator update. Let's go to Howie.
All right, I'm on there. So Andy, back to your question. I reached out to Ray already about the panels.
Okay,
They will not need the heater. They're all going to be floats to operate in a wood level wise. And he also mentioned that if we do, it would be 4 float switches. They could still monitor a level if he included a small 24-volt power supply to be used with the existing transducer. And then he could connect it to the existing Sentinel. So as of right now, we do not, when he gets the new panels, we will not need the heater.
sounds good. Howie, could you also, I don't know whether it's you or Janelle, could you update the capitals list on that item? Because right now it says completed. So that needs the lift station upgrades. So that needs to be revised as well.
Okay,
Right, because it says completed when we actually haven't completed this now because the new panels have been switched out and we have a new set of dates, and add those extra comments in there would be appreciated for the record.
yes, and I don't know if Danelle had mentioned to you guys in the last meeting, or she didn't mention it this time, but the new panels that we had purchased, we have to return them because of our pumps that do not have a capacitor in them. So we have to have a capacitor built in the panels.
Yep.
So that was one of the reasons why, the main reason why we're sending it back.
Understand we learn from our mistakes sometimes. Good. So we'll just update that on the capitals projects list there. That's item number 3.
Yes, an update with the Green Tree. They are connected in.
Okay.
We had a couple issues with whereabouts the hookup was. Well, they did, I did not.
Who
I met with
was
them.
that, Howie? Who was that, Howie, again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
John from Matrix. He had an issue.
Green Real. Are you talking about Green Realty?
Yes,
So they're hooked up now.
yes, and just waiting for the inspection.
Okay.
We had the generator guys come out today, or yesterday. They serviced everything, ran everything. We do need 2 batteries on the next service, one at pump station 2, and then one in the back on the lift stations at Black Creek.
Okay.
And then another one here that I guess Andy had asked about was the davits installation, the crane.
Mm-hmm.
They did not get that installed yet on the wall mount. They have to go to McAfee again to purchase a concrete drill big enough to lag it into the wall. So they're gonna need a concrete drill bit, and they're gonna need the lag bolts to lock it in safely. But everything else with the winch at pump station 1, that is installed.
So the crane mobile or the crane winch on the capitals list, which one is it? Oh, it's cable for winch. The crane
Cable
mobile?
for winch is installed. That was at pump station 1. That was
Okay.
recommended to get a new one. That's installed, and
Oh.
All right, the David portable, I see. Okay, very good. Thank you.
in operation.
Anything else, Howie?
Nope, just operations are going smoothly.
Hey, Howie, I got a question. The 2 guys that are working, are they thinking about going and taking the operator, the class, the intro to water and wastewater?
Yes, I mentioned it to him 3 times, and I guess Danell or somebody gave him a book and the website now. But as of right
Yes.
now, nobody said that they went on, neither one of them.
They haven't tried.
Right,
They got a long way to go, right, Howie?
yeah. So I told him it's just a quick class. I told him it's time consuming, and if you're gonna do it, start now.
It's a 180-hour class.
Wow.
Not easy.
None of us-
Well, we'll continue to motivate them and encourage them to do it. That's all you can do, Howie.
Yeah, like I said, I've spoke to him a couple times about it and keep asking him about it, and that's all I keep doing is pushing him.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So any questions for Howie? Anybody have any questions for him?
Nope.
All right. I appreciate that, Howie. Thanks a lot for the update. Number 11, we'll go to administrator update. Danelle?
Yeah, so we mentioned this a little bit before, Steve mentioned this, but we did have a pre-planning meeting finally with iBank this week. So we did meet with 4 members of the DEP for that, which obviously handle the permitting process. And then we met with, I think it was 2 or 3 people from iBank itself, that's more on the financing side. So we got kind of like our next steps, and it includes uploading, well, one, we weren't able to upload a letter of intent or the environmental review document, but I believe that we are now. We were not assigned a project number yet. So that was pushed along literally within 24 hours. We got our project number. And I got some information on our funding timeline. I mean, the good news is even after the permitting might take a couple of months, like 2 to 3, they said, for them to give us like final approval to go out to bid. The financing portion doesn't even take a month. So that's a positive thing. Because we obviously can't even go out to bid until I know that we have secured financing through iBank and have done a bond ordinance. So we have a little bit of a more firm timeline in mind, which is a positive thing. And I believe, James, you had mentioned on the phone that you were working on the environmental review document.
Yeah, right, environmental planning document. So, yeah, that shouldn't be too complicated. So we're gonna get moving on that now that it's available to upload as part of our application. So yeah, we'll get moving on that ASAP.
And I did get confirmation too that once the asset management plan is approved, which I do have planned for next meeting. I had some conversations with Steve and with Rich about how to address the asset management plan that was the big one that was done by Mott that was missing some of the portions for the force main evaluation. And then, the portion that we then had Dewberry work on. So we're going to kind of have like a mini asset management plan or an update on our asset management plan for 2021. And we'll have the original one done by Mott McDonald since they did all that work ready for approval at the next meeting.
Can we just make that an addendum to the asset management plan, the force main evaluation?
You can, but it's done by a different engineering firm.
Steve, how does that work?
I
I mean,
think-
does it matter? I mean, it's an asset management plan. It's an asset management plan. If we
Yeah,
approve
so-
it,
Yeah, so we went back and forth on this a little bit. We were just going to include it as a, we were going to call it the 2021 update to the asset management is what we were going to call it. As
Okay.
opposed to, we could like, and I believe, Donnell, you have the, I know we have PDF. I'm not 100% certain about the Word documents. So, we could go in and actually like change the current table of contents and include it as an addendum and somehow update the cover to, not be manipulating their work, if you will.
Yeah,
We just thought it'd be a
I'm
little
not
bit
sure
cleaner.
about that.
We just thought it'd be a little bit cleaner to kind of include it as a associated but separate document.
Yeah, I like that, Steve. Just a separate document. You did the force main evaluation. They did the asset management plan. So Danelle, we want to have that ready for the next meeting. This is for everybody on the MUA. you're going to review it, and then we're going to have a formal resolution to pass that asset management plan and approve it. And then that's submitted to the DEP, and that's part of the funding process. We don't want to hold up the funding process at all. I know we have a lot more to do, but let's just finalize the asset management plan and then move on.
So Donnell, we plan to issue that by the 25th, regardless
Yes.
of if we hear positively back from Cook or not.
Yes, and that was another
Ideally,
thing I
we'd
was
hear
gonna
back from
mention.
them and we'd be able to incorporate any changes, but regardless, we'll issue that.
Right, yeah, we're still waiting. That was my next point. We're still waiting on clarification from Cook. I know that the woman that I usually speak with was out on vacation, and then I would venture to guess that the person she was trying to reach was also on vacation when she came back. So we're just trying to figure out that one issue with that the one note that was a level 5 to really confirm, because we don't believe that it was level 5. The sewer service area mapping, the township is having a public hearing, scheduled on the agenda, I believe, for Monday night's meeting, for the public meeting on the town center designation. So hopefully that will be all done and finished in September, which obviously then, helps us in our sewer service area. It does not obviously address the expanded areas of the sewer service area, but I've been talking with Steve and James about how we can kind of address that in the future with the DEP. We already discussed our capital items. Water infrastructure, the capital ordinance is on for its second reading on Monday night at town council. So once that goes through, and then there's the 20-day estoppel period, obviously, we can then start charging directly to that ordinance. So work that has been done or that will be done for water supply or sewer expansion, I'm just saying, can be reimbursed then by the township to the MUA for work that will be done on that. Snowshoe and Alpine Trails homes. I'm just going to say that they did not get us the information that they were supposed to get us, so they are not on this meeting. And that's all I have.
Just to add to the water supply issue, I did have a conversation with Mayor Burrell, and it's an unusual circumstance because we don't own the asset, but we're just an operating entity. He's going to take our lead, the MUA's lead, on what we want to do in terms of the water supply. Obviously, it's connected to the wastewater system, and we're just going to take the lead on this. And there's a lot to do, and we're gonna work towards, once this gets approved, we're going to start making plans to work on an agreement with Suez, sit down with Suez, have a meeting with Suez, and then start planning the water infrastructure. And I think there's one of the things that needs to have happen is the township may have to hire or hire an engineering firm to work directly for the township, not the MUA. Is that correct, Danelle?
It depends. So the township, it depends on how they want to work it. In the past for other things, like the asset management plan, it's been reimbursed to the MUA. So
right.
It's really up to the town how they want to do it. I know that iBank, if the debt portion of the project is funded through iBank, which ideally it would be, but if it's not, I think it's kind of up to us how we want to do it. But if it's funded through iBank, I know that they understand how the MUA works. We're a little bit different, that the town, backs our financing. Or the town, I should say, gets the financing, but since it's operated by the MUA, they understand that basically the MUA pays their engineers, and then they don't, not that they don't mind, it's just that they understand that the township then gets reimburses the MUA, and then the township gets reimbursed. It's very strange. Sorry, that was a little confusing.
Danelle, are we allowed to talk about the lawsuit? Or is it something we have to?
Not in an open public meeting.
All right, thanks.
So when we
right.
go to executive session, though, we can make it about
Briefly talk about it.
contracts and pending litigation.
All right, I got it. That's no problem. Thanks.
Mike, going
And
back
any
to
questions? Go ahead.
Mike, going back to this water mapping, when we talk about this project that we're talking about bringing in water into the town, do we have a specific map laid out now of what that project would entail? Because
Yes.
when we talk about this $1.75 million being earmarked towards this, we say water and sewer, when in fact, this is, if I understand correctly, we're putting in water lines to support a certain part that has not been done. So is that map out there so that the public can simply
Yeah.
see that?
Well, there are maps that were made by Suez in the past. There was a 2014 presentation done that has maps of where the water lines are, where they can be. That's something that I know James has been working on, and that's something that has to be planned to get the exactly where it's going to be and how it's going to work. So, I mean, James might be able to answer that. I mean, do you have a decent answer to that, James?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different elements to this. So there are some dry water mains that you might have heard about that are installed down Main Street. Main was installed down Church Street and up towards 94 past CVS. The water main down Main Street is not yet active. I think that is like part of if the water was to be expanded. The other area is that we need to look at is down 515. That was not in the original plans going back to 2016 and 2014, maybe from United Water and Suez and Buck Seaford and Just. But the areas for the water mains have, basically looked to serve all of town center. So we need to look a little bit more closely at if it's absolutely necessary down 515 or if there could be like an alternative, because they do, like, for example, Acme, with the dry main that goes down Main Street, you could theoretically just have a service connection that goes to that if that's the primary business that you're looking to serve. But anyway, there is, I have the mains in GIS and there is some maps that are available.
Yeah. And then also over by Andy, which is of interest, over by Omega, where the car wash may be going.
Mhm.
Those are they have undersized mains, like 2-inch mains that need to be upgraded to probably 4-inch or 6-inch mains. That's an area that needs to be upgraded. Even though there's mains there, there's like water lines there, but they're substandard. They're not big enough to support an operation of a car wash or any kind of large development over there.
No.
So the idea is to bring the water lines to where they need to be going, and then bring it to the potential commercial development.
Oh, I absolutely agree. We've ended up putting a lot of supporting documentation when we put the ordinance out there on the town council. But the situation here is that, there's a bit of ambiguity to what is being done here. And, we've been focusing on the water with this. It is about the infrastructure and getting it done right. So I was just wondering whether or not we could, have a clear map of what that's all about, so that that's where I'm really at with it. Is that, as James has mentioned, well, it's about this and it's about that. And Mike, you add this part. We need that picture so people understand it. And it is important that we get this water done because it's been too many years. And this is a perfect time to do it.
I agree.
But I have it on my screen right now. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to share screens
Share it.
in the
I love
meeting,
it.
but
If you could send a copy of it, I'd love it. That'd be great.
yeah, it's in the GIS
James,
format, but I could play around with it and get you something if you.
Yeah,
Or I could just send
James,
you
do us a
snapshot
favor.
email to you.
Yeah, send it out by email. Send it to Nell, and then she'll get it out to all the MUA members so they can review.
Okay, and I'll send you some of what it was based off of. I also have those areas which I'm not sure if you guys saw, where potential expansion of the sanitary system in the 4 areas that we had talked about previously. I don't know if that was shared with everyone, but it's all in GIS, and so it's available.
Well, you had
send that out to everybody.
Yeah, James, you had 4 areas, but that was 1, 2, 3, 4A, and 4B, correct?
Yeah, so kind of 5 areas. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually 5 areas.
Sorry. Yeah. But it's I can get you that stuff.
Okay.
Another item on water supply. I did talk to John Hildebrand, who's the project manager for for Suez, and specifically asked them about their wells and if they needed to be upgraded. What they have done, Suez, is done a lot of leak detection and main repairs, and they've cut down their unaccounted for water considerably, to the point where they could easily meet their firm capacity. So I do not think there's going to be much issue with them supplying those, supplying the water from those wells that are down at Mountain Creek South. So that's a major capital item that may not have to occur. We're basically going to have to put mains in the ground and some kind of tank somewhere to give water pressure and supply that over to the town center. So as the plans get developed, they'll be designed. And then that's when you're going to get real pictures and costs on what things are going to cost and what they're going to look like. So if you have something preliminary, James, you can send that around. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. And I was hoping I could share the screen because it's easier to zoom around and stuff. But yeah, I'll send you a map. Make sure it's labeled properly. And I'll try and get that to you guys tonight after the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anything else, Danelle?
No, that's it.
All right. Number 12. Want to make a motion to open public for items not on the agenda, and we want to make a motion.
Motion to open to the public on any item they choose to speak about.
Second that.
Motion by Andy Pittsburgh. I think that's seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody from the public? Jackie?
I don't have anyone in the chat and I don't have anyone raising their hand.
Anybody want to make a motion to close to the public?
I'll make a
Motion.
motion to close to the public.
Second that.
Motion by Paul Carney and seconded by Andy Pittsburgh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, number 13, commissioner comments. We'll start with Andy Pittsburgh.
Other than, let's keep up, Jackie and I spoke a little bit about the capitals project list, and where I've asked for a request for is that when you have a completion date, put the completion date, not just complete. I guess that's my only piece, but you've already started to do that, Jackie, so thank you very much. Howie, I will say that you and the guys are working well, keeping the emergencies down to as little as possible, and I really do appreciate that. And let's move forward, Steve, with Pump Station 2, and James, let's get this freshwater map going so we all have clarity on what it really looks like, because I'm confused a little bit about one part of it where it's not clear yet, so I would appreciate that. Thank you. That's my comments.
Thanks, Andy. Mr. Carney?
Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Carney. Dave McDermott?
Just that I would like to see the Pump Station 2 go ahead with increased urgency. That's all. We have to, that has to be done.
Thank you, Dave. Scott, any comments?
Yes, I'm looking forward to the subcommittees, especially related to the solid waste. I think that benefits both residents of the town as well as the town as well. So I'll be reaching out to Kristen and getting that started too. I think that the map is very beneficial as well too. I was at that meeting, the city council meeting last week, and a lot of people wondering where that money is going to, right? Even though Andy had said that there's a lot of information out there, but I think sometimes you just have to make it a little easier for people to be able to see it so that they can really understand what the bigger picture is for the town, right? And then maybe they'll have some positive things to say about the city council people who are trying to do good things for the town as well. So looking forward to seeing that as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. For me, I don't have any additional comments. Again, just the only comment I have is read these subcommittee charters. If there's something needs to be updated, please let me know. The next big agenda item, and what all I can ask you is, still on that support to the water, this ordinance for the money that will be earmarked for water infrastructure. We all know it's critical, but continue to support that and let people know. And if people ask, tell them what it's about. If they're misinformed, give them the right information. So we're the ones that are, pushing this forward. So we want to get a good positive message out there. And I think as things move ahead and we start making progress, things will become more clear. So that's it for me. I want to make a motion to go into executive session 21-44 to discuss potential or litigation and personnel matters.
Not personnel, contract matters.
Contract matters. Sorry. Thank you. Thanks for the correction.
Mhm.
Motion to move into executive?
Second,
Motion by Andy Pittsger, seconded by Paul Carney. Do you have to take a roll call?
Mike Fury,
Yes.
Paul Kearney,
yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Andy Pittsger,
Yes?
and Scott Galway.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
just a
to let
reminder,
everyone know-
everyone, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I was going to mention, we don't need the engineers anymore, right? Danelle and
No.
Howie.
Correct. Yeah, just the board.
So it's just going to be the board, Danelle and Jackie. We can let the engineers go for this evening, and Howie can you can also go. We appreciate it. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
So just a reminder, since we haven't done one of these executives in a while, you guys all got the link, I think, for the executive session tonight. So this meeting will be still going
Still
on.
no.
Jackie's gonna
Find
come
it.
over. What? Did Mike just get off? Okay.
No,
So we're
I'm not off.
okay. Sorry. So Jackie is gonna come over here because she still has to have the meeting basically recording on her end. And then we'll do our executive session in the other link, and then we'll have to come back into this session to close out the meeting.
Okay.
Could you send me the executive session link again? I don't have it. Bad boy. I'm just a bad boy. Sorry.
Hey,
here we
you
go.
get demerits, Andy. Andy, I'm sorry. You're going to get points off.
I got the demerit today.
I'm
Hey.
sending it
All right.
now.
Demerit.
I just resent it
You
too.
get detention.
You got
Can
it.
you just let me know you have it?
Thank you.
I sent it
All
to
right.
you in
See you on
case.
the other.
Yep.
All right, great. See you on the other side.
See you on the other side.
Hey, Jackie, did I come in as a panelist or did I come in as a participant?
Let me see. You are a panelist.
That's strange.
It didn't say that on yours?
Well, I thought it should be a participant, not a panelist.
Yeah, the way I invite you is as a panelist.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then the other one is attendees, and then here it says participants. They used two
Right.
different, yeah, okay. I get it. Participants is the whole group, panelist is separate. Then you
Yeah,
have
so as
attendees.
panelists, I don't have to like allow you to talk or anything like that. It's just as automatic.
If you had to allow me to talk, you'd stop, right? Mute me.
I want to be entered in as the heavyweight champ of the world.
Mike Tyson instead of Mike Fury?
That's right.
Or Tyson.
Ear
Fury.
biting Tyson?
All right. I think everybody's here. We'll make a motion to reconvene.
Motion
I'll
to
make-
go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
No, shouldn't we have motion to come out of executive?
Yes. No, it's a
A
motion to
motion to
reconvene.
come out-
That's correct. It's a motion to reconvene.
Motion to reconvene?
I'll second it.
Motion by Andy Pittsger, seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? And with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion by Dave McDermott, seconded by Paul Carney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Hi,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.